everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. We've got a long agenda tonight, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the work session agenda. And first item up is the introduction of Energy Southeast President and CEO Fred Clark. Thank you for being here, Fred. If you would, just tell the audience a little bit about what you do. And
Jimmy, great to see you. I think this is on, is it? Yes?
Sounds like it, sir.
Okay. Now, I understand you've got a few new council people since I've been here.
We sure do.
Are all three of these new?
No, Jay Robinson's been here a minute.
Okay.
So Andrea and Joshua are new, and of course Jack is not here tonight.
Right. Well, it's my pleasure to be here. Of course, Energy Southeast, formerly the Alabama Municipal Electric Authority, is a wholesale power provider for Fairhope and 10 other cities, including Riviera Utilities in Foley. And so it's great to be here. I've been to meet with the council here numerous times over the years. I'm into my 20th year, if you can believe that. I'm surprised I've survived that long, but it's great to be here. When I first came to then AMEA, the Alabama Municipal Electric Authority, Tim Kent was on our board and was part of hiring me at the time, which I appreciated very much. And then, of course, Jack Burrell came on the board some years later, and glad to work with Jack. And so we've been a partner. We were created by Fairhope and the 10 other cities some 45 years ago as the city's wholesale power provider. And so Fairhope is one of 36 cities in the state that provide retail power, retail electric power, to its citizens. And what a great service and benefit that is for the city of Fairhope. You're unique as being one of 36, but you're also in the gas and water and sewer and so many other services that the city provides to its citizens, which is very unusual, but a great benefit for the city. And so I'm excited to be here with you today. I think Fairhope's probably been in the electric business for over 100 years, providing service to your consumers. And of course, it's been a pleasure to work with your mayor, Sherry Sullivan. Sherry and I have known each other for all of those 20 years, if not longer. I was executive director of Electric Cities prior to that for 7 years, and so worked with all the state's electric utilities. Clearly, we have been blessed. The city of Fairhope and all of our members have been blessed. We've had stable rates now for 13 years. And the next 10 years should be very stable with that. And so unlike many of our neighbors, we've been able to maintain that stability, and thus that'll be for the benefit of the citizens of Fairhope and beyond. There are times like we're experiencing this week, although our capacity rates have been flat, Fairhope's rates hadn't changed, but we're going through a period of historically high fuel costs. This past weekend, natural gas pricing got above $70 MMBTU. It was an extreme period of fuel costs in general. Fortunately, Fairhope is on a levelization rider, of which that rate stays the same throughout the year and thus doesn't move. Although your consumers will see on their bills, of course, that it's costly. Those that can feel the wind blowing through the house, the way my house used to be, will know that's because we're using more kilowatt hours in our house, right? And so when it's 15 degrees outside, it's hard to keep that cold out of our houses. And thus, on a really cold winter month, our cost on our monthly bills can double, triple in some cases, depending on the insulation of the house that we live in. And so I think that this week, and all of you have been watching this, if you watched NFL football games yesterday in the snow, but if you watched the National Weather Channel, you also saw sub-freezing conditions nationwide, which has caused that jump in natural gas pricing. And natural gas is more in our mix as a fuel than ever before because of the shutting down of coal plants that have occurred over the last 10 years. And so with that, we'll be managing fuel costs that will occur this week. It will be impactful but stable from the standpoint of how Fairhope manages its business. And I don't have to tell you the outstanding staff and leadership you have here in the city, including yourselves. What a great place to live. The cost of the utilities that provide service to you are low and stable. We're happy to be a partner for 45 years now and 20 years with me. I'm hired and fired based on that stability. And so when you see me hitting the door, hopefully it's on my own reasons and not the board telling me it's about time. We've been excited to be a part of Fairhope's AMI metering advancement. You putting new meters at every home and every business in your service area. That project, Sherry and her team have been managing now for the last several years. That will be completed this summer. I think that has gone very well. We got behind in that process due to supply chain issues that COVID and that whole event challenged everybody we work with. But again, I'll be pleased to be finished with that. I will probably be as pleased as anyone, although I know Sherry's ready as well. I know that you have plans of looking at advanced metering otherwise that will make it easier for your consumers to be able to look on the internet on their own personal files and see how much energy they're using in a day. And thus, when it's double and triple what it might have been the day before, like it was yesterday versus today, they'll know to cut back or to try to recognize that the cost that's coming is something they're going to have to bear. Energy Southeast continues to support your utilities with smart grid dollars, updating your systems. We have provided to our member cities some $50 million over the last 10 years for updating those systems. To Fairhope, that was about $2.5 million that came back to your systems for upgrades in your substations and other parts of your electric system. And so we've been excited to do that. Know that I'm ready to come. Tim Cant, years ago, I'm going to back up just a minute. In 2006, I inherited a bad power supply contract with Alabama Power Company. It took me 5 years to get that fixed. But during that 5 years, I had about a 10% increase in cost every year for about 5 years. It was tough. Now, Alabama Power Company were having the same increases. They were investing in their coal fleet, which was largely. But Tim Cant got to the point and said, Fred, the only time you come is when we have a rate increase. I don't want you to come back. and so I think after that, I don't think I came back for 10 years. And so fortunately, we didn't have a rate increase after 2011. And so that was a positive thing. Let me educate you a little bit. We were created 45 years ago in the state of Alabama. Cities prior to 1981 did not have the right to work together collectively for economies of scale and the purchase or ownership of generation of electricity. In 81, after fighting rate issues with the investor-owned utility in our state, the leadership of the 11 cities came together to stabilize and to focus on that wholesale power, which led for the creation of AMEA. And so again, we've been fortunate here in these last almost 15 years to not have any adjustments. Next 10 years, as I said, I think will be stable. We'll have the events that weather provide us, whether it's a hurricane or whether it's a cold weather storm or whatever that impact is. But I think we're well situated financially to be able to address that and maintain stability. Look, I know you have a long agenda. Any questions for me before I leave?
I guess if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit more about the projects like the solar charging Tesla, I call it the Tesla station, but it's not just for Teslas, but
right
out here, that was Energy Southeast project, the AMI, which is the upgrading the meters and just anything else that may be on the horizon that we should be in the know on.
So we hope to, those are all initiatives that we put a similar investment in every city. To the solar panels that are out front, the charging stations that went with those. several millions of dollars went toward that type of project in all 11 cities. AMEA, Energy Southeast, also provides training dollars for your citizens or your utilities to utilize. We set aside some $500,000 a year, of which you receive dollars for safety and training of your electric employees. We're also involved in your economic development initiatives. Have provided zero interest loans, what we call a capital loan program, for anything that deals with community development. Along with that program, as you authorize annually, is some $30,000 that go to economic development grants that go towards, what we have found is that when an industry or a business, a large business, is looking at a community, and of course, this is not Fairhope. You don't have to do much to drive the streets of Fairhope and know you're in a great place, right? Well, there's some members of ours that need a little bit more shine, right? You're already shined up. You're ready to go. But communities, an industry, when they're looking at, say, Calhoun County and Piedmont, industries that come from Ohio or California or wherever they're coming from, they're looking for pride in community, local investment, focus on community-driven action. And so things like flags on flagpoles in terms of welcome to Piedmont, city parks that might be veterans parks, where they see the pride in your focus on veterans and pride of country. Other types of initiatives that help to focus on the growth of the community that not only your citizens benefit from, but anybody that comes to see you knows how strong you are. And so we've been doing that in every community that we serve, as well as we've increased that capital loan program to $10 million, up from $500,000 per loan to $1 million for jobs that increase that might bring an industry that might bring 100 plus employees to that community. And so we continue to work with the Baldwin County Economic Development Group on their efforts to solicit and to grow businesses. But we're here to support you daily as it relates to your distribution system, whether it's transmission support, as we have worked on, as well as your infrastructure support. So we're basically involved in everything. We also provide you a scholarship program. You give 4 scholarships a year that we provide the funds for, and you may provide others as well, I'm not sure. But that's to recognize our brightest and best. And those only go to students that attend state schools, not state school, but Alabama schools. Idea being that we want these young people to stay in Alabama. And we really want them to come back to Fairhope and to our member communities. We're investing in them. Your schools have invested in them. So we want to help them, but we want to make sure they go to schools that will encourage them to stay. I think it's been found, and you probably all have seen this, if a high school graduate goes to a school out of state, the likelihood of them coming home is less. It's natural. They get used to living somewhere else. Well, they ain't live anywhere, right? If they go to a state school, University of Alabama, Auburn, your community colleges, whoever that might be, the likelihood of them staying in the state and probably coming home is much greater. That's why we have that as a requirement, because we want to educate our own to stay at home. And so that's just a few of the things we do, Jimmy. Of course, we look to your leadership to tell us what else can we do for you. But
we just appreciate the partnership.
Yep.
It's been good.
We're excited about the future. Again, the next 10 years should be very stable, should be good for Fairhope, should be good for our members. And then looking to the future, we got lots of challenges with data centers eating up a lot of energy, with other factors that are challenging to our future. But I think we're in a very good place at this point to face those challenges. So in any event, it's great to be here. Well, Sherry, do you have anything I missed, or has that got it?
No, I think that has everything. I did want to say we were able to use some funds through AMEA also for the 44 kV loop. And again, some of the community development or economic development dollars have helped with things like Arts Alley and some different things for tourism. And of course, working with Baldwin County EDA, anytime that they would need some funds for us to help with anything with economic development, we also work with them with those funds. So Fred, thank you for everything that y'all do. I mean, y'all are great support. Ben and his team with David on AMI, I mean, reaching out to Arthur and to Mark and being able to work with those guys have just, your staff's second to none.
As you can tell, I work for you, and that's who directs me every day. She just calls when she needs something. And so, again, thank you for letting me come, and welcome new folks. And
It was nice to meet you, Fred.
Look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate
I'm
it.
headed back to Montgomery, so
Safe
I'll
travels,
Okay.
Fred.
Okay.
Thank
Be
you very
safe.
much. All right, next item up is a presentation on the Fly Creek Canine Water Quality Study by the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program. And Nicole, how are you?
Good. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
So just a little bit of background here on why we're presenting today. As you all have probably seen or heard over the last several years, actually a lot of years, Fly Creek has had a kind of off and on problem with E. coli. It has been listed through the state as a 303D listed stream for E. coli. Over the years, we haven't really been able to determine where that source is coming from. There has been, a lot of thoughts over where that source is coming from. So we have worked with the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program a lot over the years. The council, Councilman Conyers and Councilman Robinson, you all have been here before, so you know that every year we give the NEP money to look at different things within our watershed. This time, we did give them an additional amount of money, and that money is going to help to determine where that source track or where that bacterial source is coming from with something called source tracking. Now, traditionally, that is a source tracking study that is, it's a lot of money. We did get some quotes on how much that would cost. We do fortunately have the National Estuary Program did come up with a really interesting new technique to determine where the source is coming from. And it just so happens to be that that Cody, who I'm going to introduce you to, is leading that charge for the National Estuary Program. And it just happens to be that he lives here in Fairhope, lives in my community, which is really cool as well. And his partner that's working on this project also happens to live in Fairhope. And lives on Fly Creek. So it was really cool when they came to us, probably, 2 years ago now? About 2 years ago, with the idea of this approach to use canines. And I'm going to let Cody tell you all about the background and where this come from. But we wanted them to come to you to tell you what's going to be happening and how it's going to happen really quickly. Because they're going to do the work here coming up in February and March. And then we would like for them to come back and tell you all the results of what they found and what your money went towards. So, Cody? I couldn't remember how to pronounce your last
Aloy.
name. So,
Aloy. It's tough. It's
Thank
only
you.
4 letters, but man, it'll get you. Thank you guys very much for having me. Thank you, Nicole, for the introduction. On a personal note, really quick, Mr. Fred was talking about some of the stuff that you guys do for veterans. And like I said, a personal note, thank you guys so much for everything that you do and for all the community does to help us out. Being a combat veteran myself, it is much appreciated.
Well, thank you for your service.
Appreciate your service.
Carry on, citizens. No. So as Nicole said, we embarked on an innovative process or an innovative program in order to try to detect wastewater that enters our rivers and streams. As you know, the Mobile Bay National Estuary Program works in conjunction with the Clean Water Act, and we're funded by the EPA in order to ensure that the things that go on in our community are, keeping environmental focus front and center. So about 3 years ago, I was sitting in Baghdad, Iraq, and I applied for a project manager job. And I was trying to get out of that whole scene. I was a security contractor for a little bit, and I was hired on the premise that I could train a dog to find pathogens. So fast forward to 3 years later, and here we are. We've developed this program, and the brief overview of the program is we wanted to train a dog to identify sources of sewage in our waterways. It's a problem across the United States. It's a problem in the world, and we wanted to try to find a cheaper and faster alternative to traditional methods, which include a lot of laboratory work and years of time. We want to use the canine as a screening tool. We're not trying to replace any kind of traditional methods or any scientific process. What we want to do is we want to just screen these things out so that way less has to go to the laboratory. And then we want to facilitate better environmental management. So again, we wanted to reduce the time and improve efficiency and provide a cost-saving measure or tool for municipalities and wastewater treatment facilities. Nicole touched on a little bit on point and non-point source tracking, and I'm sure she could probably share some of the quotes that you guys have got for that, and you guys would probably drop the paper on the floor seeing how expensive it is. So I wanted to highlight some of our partners. It really has been a collaborative effort. I want to, Paul Orcutt is here from X&O Consulting. He is a dear friend of mine from my past life, and he was my trainer on my first trip to Iraq, and so that's kind of how we knew each other, and by happenstance, he decided to move here, and both of us are residents of Fairhope, and so we do hold this city quite dear in our hearts, and we want to see this go through. But I want to give a special thank you to him. ESA, the FDA, the EPA have been outstanding partners, and also the city of Fairhope. You guys have done wonders in allowing us to deploy our dog and see this scientific method move forward. So thank you guys. As I said at the onset, I'm a veteran of the United States Navy. I've got about 15 years of canine experience. I fought in Afghanistan, and I was a security contractor in both Iraq and Afghanistan. My job when I was in Afghanistan and Iraq was to find improvised explosive devices with my dog. Paul Orcutt, you'll see a picture of him at the top there. He is a Marine Corps veteran and has about 35 years of experience, which means he knows exactly double what I know. But both of us come from we take our dog training very seriously. We are the front of the pack, we lead the way, and it's literally life or death when it comes to our expertise, or it comes to our profession. When we took this project on, we wanted to make sure that we brought that expertise to the front, and we wanted to bring that good, consistent training that we know. So we're not Petco dog trainers. We're no offense to them if there's any in the room. We're not teaching Fido how to sit. We've taught dogs to find explosives against some of the meanest people in the world. I want to talk just a little bit about the canine olfaction system, and Paul probably run circles around me with this. But dogs have about 300 million olfactory receptors in their nose. The olfaction region is about 40 times greater than that of humans. Humans have about 4 million or 5 million olfaction receptors in their nostrils. So dogs can literally smell in 3D. They can detect scent in parts per trillion, and Paul has actually been part of studies that have shown dogs can detect parts per quadrillionth, which is an insane thing to do. And their discrimination ability, you'll see a big juicy cheeseburger at the top there. That cheeseburger is, if we walk into a diner, we smell a cheeseburger cooking, fried food, things like that. Dogs can tell you each individual ingredient that's in the meat, the cheese. They can separate it all in their minds. The sesame seeds from the bun, they can take it and separate it, which is why we chose dogs to do this in the first place. So you'll see here a map of unsafe bacteria levels over the last year. This map is probably about 6 months old, but it looks like this at any given time. So this is from Alabama Water Watch and the Department of Environmental Management. This is their data. So you'll see the larger the dot, the larger the amount of unsafe bacteria levels that have been recorded. You'll also see the 303D listed streams, which Nicole touched on in her opening remarks. And so just because there's less dots in Baldwin County does not mean that there's less of a problem. We have less monitoring that goes on in that area because it's a little bit more rural. So the solution that we came up with, again, was to use canines to screen these samples, and we're trying to reduce the amount of laboratory testing that have to go out. We do this by pre-screening these samples. We'll set the dog, we'll take a sample, set it out for the dog. The dog will indicate to us whether or not there's the presence of human waste there. And the dog is trained on only human waste, just for your guys' information. The dog was trained against animal waste, bird waste, all that stuff, and the dog only responds to human waste. We also obtained an independent certification from the United Police Working Dog Association. Any police department that has a canine will usually have some sort of third-party or disinterested third-party accreditation. There's about 5 in the United States. Upwada is one of those, and granted us a certification. They wrote a certification, and then we sent our dog through that. So this is at a national level has been validated. Additionally, really quick before I take any questions, we did do a double-blind study, and we've been working with this dog for, I would say, Paul, how many thousands, tens of thousands of training hours that we've put into this. So with that, if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I've got a couple questions. It may be kind of obvious, but I mean, would you be just walking up either side of the creek of Fly Creek with the dog and letting the dog indicate?
No,
based on that, or is it a
so
little
basically, and I did have some talking points. Let me reference these real quick. So one of the things that we are deploying the dog to Fly Creek, and we're going to be taking water samples along the creek. You get into trouble with access rights and things like that. So we don't want to upset anyone. We want people to be excited about this and jazz. We don't want it to be to make anyone upset. And so basically what we'll do is we'll take water samples, we'll give them to the dog, and then we've also, our partner with the EPA has also agreed to do some of the laboratory analysis that would traditionally be done.
And
my
we're gonna
next-
use the existing sample sites, right?
Yes, we're going to be using existing samples, yes.
And my next question, dumb question, is only trained to indicate on human waste, but is there a possibility that the source of E. coli in Fly Creek is coming from farming, animals, whether it be geese or cattle or something else?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
That is absolutely true. And some of the scientists that we've worked with on this have indicated that grass clippings or decaying organic matter can read high levels of E. coli. So this is going to be also an education thing. One of the other parts of this project is we're going to be doing a community event where we'll have local Fairhopians come out and we can educate them on this thing. So that way they're tracking of what's going on, and it's not just like, oh well, hey, there's high bacteria levels. Well, that may not be a horrible thing. So.
Very fascinating. Counselor, do y'all have any questions?
I was going to ask the same question you asked. So it wasn't dumb,
Okay, good.
or maybe it was.
How many dogs do you say were trained?
We have currently one dog, and then one dog is in training right now. So.
Great.
So you said you're going to be able to indicate where it's coming from,
So
or
what
just
we'll
in the different areas, whether they.
So what we'll do is we'll go up the river. We've got some sites that have been predetermined. We'll take samples from those areas, and when we lay all the data out on a map, you'll kind of be able to see if we encounter a bunch of positive results, and then all of a sudden they stop. We can safely say that it's somewhere below this area, and we can kind of gauge based off of how high the bacteria levels are. And some of the scientific tests that we do, we'll be able to kind of give you a more of a range. They should be, let's say, for example, they go all the way up and then they stop, and then there's negatives above. If there's a higher concentration of fecal coliforms and male-specific coliphage, which are the two things we're looking at, then we'll be able to say it's probably here.
How are you going to clean it? Throw some bleach in it?
No, that is up to someone that is higher paid than me. So. But yeah, I do wish we had the money to mitigate these things, but yeah, it's not quite in our budget.
Okay.
Is this your first time doing it? Is it on this Fly Creek?
No, we've actually sampled this creek once before.
Once before.
Yes, sir, we did. The results of that were a little bit inconclusive. So when I talked a little bit about how the dog was trained in parts per million, or parts per trillion, it was quite low that the scientific test couldn't even pick anything up. So we believe that the dog was responding on something, but it was just such minuscule amounts that it wasn't in regulatory concern.
The dog was actually alerting so the samples were taken,
the dog alerted to 11 of 12 samples. Those samples were taken after the dog sniffed them immediately to 8M, and 8M tested for fecals. All 11 of the samples the dog alerted to tested positive for fecal. What we later found out, and there were low levels of fecal. We went back to the drawing board and realized, and we did a double-blind test with a dog and found out that the dog was alerting down to about 1 parts per quadrillionth, which is significantly, it's 9 magnitudes lower than what the regulatory levels are. So at that point, we recalibrated the dog back up within regulatory levels. So currently, it alerts only the human fecal matter within regulatory levels.
Which is what just so you guys are aware, that's for food grade according to the FDA and EPA.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, cool deal.
Thank you.
All right, next item up is discussion of consumable hemp products relative to the ABC Board and Jennifer Olmsted speaking for us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I'm here just to get a direction the city would like to move toward or away from. In May of '25, legislators passed a bill that limited the sales of hemp-based products, CBD products, and put all the regulatory sanctions to the ABC Board. That became effective January 1st. With that, there is an application that these businesses would have to apply for to sell these in our jurisdiction. Part of that application is that the municipality either says it's okay or says it's not okay. And so I just don't want us to be holding up the process when and if that ever comes to fruition. I think they have 2 applications from our area already with them. And then if you do decide that this is something we would want to allow in our jurisdiction or our city limits, would the application be similar to just a beer and wine application, or would it be similar to something that you would want to see a public hearing done on? As well as what fees you would like to see for those licenses?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Also touch on the fact that it's like in a can, and that it's only being sold at grocery stores, and the content of it.
Right. So there are 3 different licenses that the ABC will issue. One is a specialty retailer of consumable hemp products. That is for those retailers that only have CBD and hemp products in their store and they're selling nothing else. Pharmacy consumable hemp products will be distributed by a pharmacist in a pharmacy. Those are going to be your salves, your topical applications, and any type of something you would take to be edible, but not like an ingestible. And then you'll have your retail food store consumable hemp products. Those are going to be for your grocery stores that have to have a minimum square feet of 14,000. They also, let me see here, hang on.
It's not gonna be convenience stores.
No, and
There's got it, well, yeah.
the grocery stores are gonna they have to have it in a contained area. There is age requirements that it's gonna be 21, it's just gonna be like an alcoholic beverage. So that, I'm just trying to get some
So for
information.
the purpose of this discussion, we're only talking about the 3rd category. Are we trying to discuss the possibility of?
Not like a dispensary or anything like that.
No.
We talked about before. This is simply, the consumable products.
CBD and hemp, it's not medical marijuana, that's gonna be
But this is
prescribed
consumable
by-
in a can that's
This
being.
those,
Correct.
those
Right.
THC drinks and stuff like
Yes,
that?
THC drinks, any
Delta
type of.
8,
Yeah,
Yes.
but, well, and the only
They're
reason I'm
all-
asking for that clarification is because the first 2 categories, I mean, obviously, something you're gonna buy in the can is not gonna be pharmacy grade, so that second category wouldn't apply.
Right.
And tell me again what that first category was, I don't think it.
First category is more like hemp and CBD.
Yes,
You're
specialty,
completely-
CBD specialty
that's
stores,
only-
which
that's the
again,
only
I
thing
think
they're
we're
selling.
trying to, based on previous discussions in this, that's
Right.
what I thought. And so,
Yeah.
because I don't think we're looking to approve or get into the business of one or two, but whether or not, and I know that this third category, it's 14,000 square feet, and there's got to be a certain portion of it, percentage, I think, of the square footage that is
Sells food.
food and grocery,
Yes.
maybe, so.
There is also another one that will fall, I believe, into that, and it's one that is already has a package store license with the ABC, as long as they have 500 square feet of movable space in their area. Correct, and that's because their age required, like, you can't have someone under the age of 21 enter those stores.
Okay, I was thinking that, so, I mean, the ABC store will be selling stuff like this as well, right?
Possibly.
And the other thing is they have dropped the content of those drinks as well.
Yes. I do not have that in front of
They
me.
have dropped the content level of those drinks from, I don't know what it was, I don't have it in front of me either, but
There are restrictions based as to how much of the THC or CBD is in the product.
So what we need to decide then, I guess, one is, are we going to allow these types of licenses to be granted? And then number two, what the charge for those licenses are.
And
Yeah,
whether- yes,
If we
correct.
like the licenses.
Correct, and if you would rather, if you do move towards an approval, would the approval just be you all approving it based off of, police chief recommendation, planning and zoning, or something of that matter? And then, or if you would rather it be a public hearing?
My thought would be if we were to approve something like that, it would probably just follow the same pathway as a liquor license and without any kind of special consideration. Because it sounds like that's how the state's treating it with this
Correct.
legislation.
Yes.
That legislation, there should not be any of these products in stores at the moment in our just.
That's correct.
correct.
Have they been there before?
Yeah.
Yes.
They have
And they pulled them based on the change in
They
the
have been.
legislation?
Yes.
That's correct.
Supposed to have.
We also need to talk about the fees. I mean, if you want to revisit the fees as well, and I think y'all have that copy in front of you.
Yeah, Council, I submitted this is related but dissimilar
Right.
about our municipal liquor license fee comparison, just comparing when it was last set up in the 80s. Hate to go on a little tangent here, but you can see here, there's some pretty stark differences when it was set in 1980, 1985. If you just count for inflation, it's way, way, way lower than almost anywhere in the state, especially in comparable cities. Most are double, some are closer to triple what we currently charge for licenses. And so I'm not necessarily saying we should triple our fees, but maybe in a tiered basis over the course of a couple of years, get our fees more in line with what they are reasonably should be compared to our peers and the rest of the state.
Definitely on the low side.
Yeah, I mean, the restaurant liquor license is probably pretty stark. Almost 10 times less than Birmingham.
Do we have any comparables to like communities closer to our size?
I don't know. I don't know what anybody else's
Okay.
is.
What a Daphne
I mean,
and
I
Gulf
can-
Shores are
Yeah,
charging.
Daphne,
I
Gulf
can capture
Shores, I
that
mean, somebody
information.
closer to our size, because these are all lot bigger
Right.
cities.
And you said that we've got 2 applications currently
They have not
They-
worked them up yet, but they have received them.
received 2?
Yes, they've got a lot of vetting to do before they
Yeah.
get the application.
Council, I'm not too inclined to it. Doesn't really, I'm not a big fan of it. Don't really see a whole lot of benefit in creating another consumable that gives chief lots of fun on the weekends, but
Well, I was going to ask you, council's thoughts, and Chief, if you have any instant recommendations or thoughts on it or not?
I really haven't had a chance to look at it.
Okay. Councilman Gammon has put his 2 cents out there. How about y'all? Any thoughts?
I mean, I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other, quite honestly. I mean, it's something that's now being regulated and controlled throughout the state. It's existed here in Fairhope before, and then they're just looking for a legal path to do it moving forward. I mean,
I don't know that I'd have a problem with it being done and with it only being in a canned consumable and with it being regulated to the point it sounds like it's being regulated. I mean,
Yeah, I've heard all kinds of things about it. Certain people quit drinking, and instead of drinking, they drink these drinks.
Well, I hadn't given a ton of thought to it yet. I mean, I'm glad we're having it here on the work session so we can at least get the conversation started. Do you have an ETA? You just kind of want to get this buttoned up sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I just didn't want us to be the holdup on the application process with the ABC board.
yeah, so we don't have any pending applications that are waiting.
They have received 2, but they
worked
haven't
them
been
up
vetted yet. She still has a lot of stuff that she has to do.
And I've received several calls to my office asking, when we're going to take some action to allow folks to be able to distribute them in our area.
Yeah, I'd probably just, I mean, I'm glad to know this, but I'd probably like to do a little bit.
Thinking on it, or?
Yeah, just a little more of my own research on it, just because again, I'm not here to say whether we should sell alcohol or not sell alcohol. That just is what it is. But part of our job is to figure out if it's going to be done, how we regulate it, how we police it, whether or not it has a positive or negative impact on this community, and whether
Correct.
there's some correlation to this product versus another product. And so I'd like to just be able to have an opportunity to talk to the chief about it before we actually make any decisions on it.
Oh, yeah.
Any questions for Jennifer while she's up here? Or any further comments?
I guess we can table the liquor license thing too. Also a good thing to research, get some more information and just.
Yeah, I'll research that more and get some more size comparable to us
Yeah,
information
for sure.
on that. And
Or
then
like
would
at
you,
tourist cities as well.
yeah,
Orange
would you
Beach,
like
Gulf
for me
Shores.
to revisit this at another time? Do y'all want to give me a date to do that, or just
It
wait to hear
may
from
be
you?
worth just go ahead
Yeah.
and putting it on the, the work session again in a couple of meetings, just so that we don't lose track of it, and so we can, that's.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Right.
Maybe the second one in February.
Council President's prerogative, but I'm not in.
Yeah, the second one in February, and if you wouldn't mind, maybe.
Is there an April 20th
emailing
meeting?
this
And
list,
for
but with
the
some
restaurants
spans
watching,
forward
that is Joshua Gammon.
Yeah, I'll get you that other information before then. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Robinson. Appreciate that.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
Mr. No More Tax.
All right, next up is discussion of a seasonal school resource officer position. Chief,
Good evening.
how are you doing?
So I did send a proposal originally. It asked for 2 positions. And we've had some recent conversations with some other individuals we thought were going to retire, but have decided to maybe hold out a little bit longer. So really, this is just back to 1 position. I think it would be a great opportunity for us to try this to see if it'll work. Now, it's not a budgeted item. I did attach a spreadsheet. I believe it was about a $45,000 cost that was unbudgeted, but with the 1 position, we can make it 10, up to $10,000. Now, that is also based on a full year, a full budget year. So here we are, February, and we only have 4 months left in the school year. So there are limitations. So what I'm asking is to be able to bring a retired officer back to the police department. Per the state code, they can come back and make up to $52,000. They can do nothing but work for the school. They have to be there during school days that the students and the teachers are there, which is approximately 187 days. And so that's pretty much the limitations. But the benefits to it, obviously, is bringing back an experienced SRO who's familiar with our schools, has already developed these relationships with the students. And then, in addition to that, it would allow us to bring someone back and keep our active duty full-time officers on the streets where we need them. I mean, we're still having some challenges with our recruitment. So we're currently at 4 positions that we need to hire for. And being able to bring this one back would definitely kind of counteract that. The other thing is, previously, our school resource supervisor was in the school full-time. I want to be able to bring that sergeant back out to be able to monitor those schools more closely on a day-to-day operation basis, and then allow him to do some other things, like get community outreach programs, get our summer program up and running, maybe add some more things to that, be able to benefit some more kids in the summer programs. And then just to be able to monitor the SROs and help them on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I'm a big fan of the SRO program, and the way I see it, it's a 45,000 unbudgeted position. However, it's actually a cost savings for that particular spot because you still have unfilled positions, and you would otherwise have somebody at a full-time rate paid to be in that location, which would be more than 45,000. So to me, it's a cost savings, even if it is an unbudgeted expense, and it's someone who is already familiar with the
Yes.
school and is comfortable. The students are comfortable with them. The staff and faculty are comfortable. I think it's a great win. I would like to see us move forward and make that happen for you.
I think you're absolutely right, and it's, you know, I think it's hard to overstate what a tremendous benefit not only these SROs are to our school system, but specifically in Fairhope, these specific SROs that we've been blessed with,
Yes.
and what a tremendous impact they have on all the kids and the relationships that they have with the staff, with the administrators, with the teachers, with the children. And to be able to continue something like, while also giving you the opportunity to have someone else take care of some things that we may
Yes.
be having problems staffing with right now. Jimmy's exactly right. It may be unbudgeted, but it is a cost savings and a huge benefit across the board.
All right, thank you.
Yep, I'm all for it.
Chief, would you say it's a challenge to hire for that position?
Not that particular position, just in general.
full-time, for a
Yes,
full-time,
just
yeah.
for a full-time
Yeah, and
officer.
this is a recent state update law, right?
That's correct.
That probably contributed to not being a budgeted item.
It started in '23, and the reason I did not put it in this year's budget is it was supposed to end, the program was supposed to end in '26. I didn't see the point of doing it for a short period.
Yeah, right.
But they've recently extended it to 2030.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
yeah.
we'll have an opportunity to
Great
do
things.
this
Yeah.
year after year.
And it's only $10,000 now, as you said.
If we did
so-
one position,
Yeah, one position, so very minimal.
yeah.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you.
Next step from you, get this on the next agenda list. Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Right. Wes is going to come discuss Cortera terms and
The
conditions.
moment you've all been waiting for.
Sure.
Just a little brief history on Cortera. Cortera is our ticket management system that we use to manage our 811 line locate tickets. What we're trying to do is add additionally a field app. With this field app, it'll allow our field tech guys to prioritize their 811 line locate tickets and also map them geographically so that their workflow in their day is more productive. You have a copy of these terms and conditions. I'm going to assume that you read them verbatim. Marcus read through them, had a couple of comments and questions, and just wanted to kind of tee this thing up with you guys so that you're comfortable moving forward with the terms and conditions. The thing about this is Cortera kind of was like, either agree to them or don't. So.
We heard that last week, or last time.
Yeah, it is. It's a $1,500 addition to a $6,000 running annual line item that adds the field app. That's the only thing that we're adding. We have a working history with Cortera that dates back about 5 years. So we've been doing business with them. This is just the addition of the field app. And these are the terms and conditions associated. He did make a note for line item 9, the indemnification line item, and also the limitations of liability. Were two notes that I would at least like to mention that Marcus had a little bit of concern with, and just wanted to kind of get a nod from you guys on.
I mean, I think the way I read this is their boilerplate standard language, and the city attorney just wants us to be aware that, hey, we wouldn't normally accept some of these things, but there isn't anything we can do to change it. They're not gonna,
If you want that out, you gotta.
we gotta do it. You just wanna make sure we know we're signing off on
Screw
something.
up, the most we can get out of them is what we paid them for the out, $1,500. That's not something we always strike that. In the notification, we always strike those types of things, and those are battles that we continue to have on almost a daily basis. But if it's a system that Wes, needs and has and doesn't, we think that there's a liability is so low that
Yeah.
it's one of those, that we gotta bring it to y'all just to make sure.
Make sure we know about it. Yeah, but I don't, I mean, I see that all the time where
Yeah.
people, they'd love to change the mice type and so to speak, but some company, they've already run that through who knows how many lawyers. They're not gonna change anything for the city of Fairhope.
They're not.
Thank you, though, for bringing it to our
Sure.
attention.
Thank you, Wes.
Any questions
Yeah.
for Wes on that?
I would just say, see if they can track anything. Are you getting more productivity? Are they closing more tickets now versus before?
Oh, it will streamline our day-to-day operations for sure. These guys are having to prioritize these things, go in, look at them, and it's mind-boggling to see the number of locate tickets that come in through the city on a day-to-day basis. We're talking about in excess of 70,000 annually.
Wow.
So, they're having to go through and right now manually look through and say, hey, this one's in that. My system goes all the way to Bay Minette. We wrote it one day. It's
Yeah,
long.
I know.
So, it's a daunting task, and that's reoccurring every day that this field app really helps out with. So it will streamline operations for sure.
No brainer.
Yep.
Don't let them talk with VMware.
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Buddy.
All right, next item up is committee updates. Councilman Burrell's not here. Councilman Gammon?
No committee updates, thank you.
All right. Councilman Robinson?
Yes, thank you. I have two. 2 weeks ago, the Historic Preservation Commission met, and on February 6th at the museum, there will be the History Day projects from the high school will be presented up there. And then there will be judged that afternoon, and
I'm the judge.
a winner will be decided on that evening. So if you're out and about and want to see something cool, go over and check out these History Day projects. In addition, though, we talked about two things that are open from the Historic Preservation Commission standpoint. One is our CLG status. I've talked with Mr. Williams here about trying to get that buttoned up, to get it back to council, to be able to present again, to clear some of the sort of hurdles that, in the language that got us rejected the first time. That'll have to be brought back up for discussion, probably advertised as well. So there'll be opportunity to discuss those changes and the needs in that ordinance coming up. The other were some of the changes to the demolition permit. I know we've talked about it twice here in work session, about the cooling off period and certain language that we had concerns about that may not be quite clear. We're in the process of getting that cleaned up again, and we'll get that presented again so we can maybe move forward and get that on the books and ready to go. Next, the rec board meeting was this past Wednesday. There were a variety of things discussed, one of which were the fees at the tennis courts. As some of you may recall, we've kind of gone round and round in how to charge certain fees for certain facility rentals, and then how that may look when it's a school, whether it's private, public, from another city wanting to use those facilities. There was a lot of confusion in the language we had for the tennis court rental agreement itself. You had 4 people looking at it, and they all came up with 4 different numbers. And so we want to just tighten that up. Obviously, I know that's something I think that Pat has already been in contact with the mayor about getting that cleared up. And then for us, it's going to be ultimately for us as a council to decide whether or not, when you're talking about renting these facilities to a private school, for example, do you want there to be some cost savings there because you're giving it, or you're allowing it to be used by a school that's got a large majority of their student population being Fairhope kids. I think one of the things I tried to express to the group in that meeting was that the charges that we put on these facility rentals are not intended to really be moneymakers, and they're definitely not intended to be punitive. What they're designed to do is allow us to focus on the upkeep and maintenance of these facilities so that we can have them in use for years to come. But we have to figure out that balance so that it isn't punitive when somebody like the St. Michael's tennis team, which is what brought this up, want to use that. And so that will be probably coming back before us, maybe not just for the tennis, but probably a bigger, more global issue as we move forward. And keep in mind, we do have to charge something, again, because it is a private use of a public facility, but we can decide what that consideration is and how discounted or modified we want that to be. The other thing is after the rec board meeting, they had their annual rec summit where all recreation and sports were present and able to discuss a variety of their issues. And as somebody who's a member of several of those boards, there are plenty of issues that they have and things they'd like to see done and improved and changed. And my understanding is that was a very productive meeting. And so there'll probably be a lot of things. I know there's been a lot that's already gone to Sherry from that. And there'll be plenty more that we probably have to address and deal with. But all these things, it's, when you get a bunch of people in a room that are passionate about a variety of issues, there's a lot of good conversation that happens. And sometimes being the city representative is not the most positive or popular position in the room. But it's good to hear their concerns. It's good to get that out there so we can start towards a pathway of improvement and improving the process and improving some of these facilities.
Most of the issues related to just accessibility, like the number of fields or courts available and the timing?
Accessibility, condition, just some, in some instances, a communication between, the city and some of these groups. And some of it's just a matter of tightening up a couple of things here and there. Some of them are more bigger issues for bigger needs.
Councilwoman Booth?
Yes, I've got some good news. So this coming Saturday, January 31st, from 7 to 9:30, we actually have good news about the library. They're having their chocolate and champagne. It is an evening of fun, fantasy, and a fundraiser. And I actually have Sherry's ticket right here. And so she can pick that up. $50, because that's how much they cost. And I do have a few extra tickets. If anybody needs tickets, I have them at my shop. And that's all I have to say.
Right, and I don't have any updates at this time. So next, we're going to move on to department head updates and cover agenda items while you're up here. We've got a pretty long agenda, so anything y'all can cover during this session will hopefully expedite the meeting tonight. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I've got 25, 26, and 27. So number 25 is a resolution requesting for the council to authorize the mayor to execute a contract with Evergreen Solutions for the classification compensation study with a not-to-exceed amount of $48,500. The amount we budgeted was $75,000, so it gives us more than $26,000 in savings.
Good job.
Thank you. Number 26 is requesting a reclassification by the recommendation of the Personnel Board of the mechanic grade from a grade 7 to a grade 8. So we've got currently 3 openings for mechanics within our fleet maintenance shop. One of those is due to promotion, one is newly budgeted, and one was an unexpected resignation. And that one is the one that's kind of hurting us. He had a lot of institutional knowledge, and 3 vacancies kind of hurts. So we started recruitment before Christmas. We had a lot of good responses, but it's boiling down to not being able to meet salary expectations of qualified candidates. So we took this to the board, discussed some of the data that we found from the county. They agreed with the recommendation. And so by moving the position from a grade 7 to a grade 8, it gives us around $3 more per hour to negotiate for salaries for some of the candidates we've interviewed. So.
Thank you, Hannah.
All right.
And for the Evergreen, when do we expect that study back?
So their estimate in the proposal was about 6 months.
6 months.
So summer. The
And
goal is that we've got the bulk of it as we go into the budget.
And they were on the faster side of
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
those being reviewed.
And then number 27 is a reappointment to the Personnel Board. This is Jake O'Neill, who has served on the board since May of 2019.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Race, you've moved up to strategically get in position.
Fast.
I'm gonna be quick. We've got a final adoption of a annexation for the Audi property as agenda item number 6. And number 7 is a site plan review for the Fairhope boarding house. That is a site plan review, not a public hearing. So any comments would fall under the public participation component. And if there's any, we'll be sure to write those down and discuss those when we hit that agenda item, unless y'all have any specific questions to discuss at this time.
Yeah, I would think, Aldi, we talked about talked about both of them last meeting, but I'm sure there'll be some conversation, discussion on that. We can just wait till.
And just
time.
remember, we haven't had the boarding house on this agenda other than the work session. You had it for the planning commission,
That's right. I've just seen it.
Chairman?
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch, so I feel like everybody else has. So.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Hunter.
Thank you.
Sir.
Good evening. I have 3 items to discuss with you. First one is item number 9. It's a housekeeping item. We're not spending any money. We don't have to spend any money. This was a warrant that came from a planning and zoning case with Harvest Green where a signal was required. That cost of that signal and the installation of that was all worked out between ALDOT and developers. But we have to have an agreement in order for ALDOT to reimburse the developers the $250,000 commitment they made. So this is asking for y'all to approve this resolution that allows us to enter an agreement. Just so you know, this signal services State Route 181, the entrance to the waters, which is Falling Waters Boulevard, and the due entrance into the southern entrance of Harvest Green, which is called Threshing Boulevard. We will have future maintenance responsibility because the 2 approaches that are on city roads, but that is not unusual from any other light in the city that shares county or city roads and a state road. So we're asking for that approval on item number 9.
May I make a suggestion on item number 9? I'm
Yes,
sorry to
please.
interrupt. The agreement itself, there's some language in there that is not applicable to the project. I would suggest perhaps if you're entering into a resolution to include language that we have the ability to negotiate and enter into an agreement unless y'all want to approve the final version of the agreement. Because I would suggest that basically we got a form, an ALDOT contract that suggests certain things that aren't really the case for this particular project. In fact, some of the language suggests the project is to commence, and a lot of the project's already done. And so for the applicability of the agreement, I'd suggest maybe some language in there to give us some wiggle room authorizing to enter into the agreement, but make some changes with ALDOT's consent and, work with ALDOT. Sometimes it can be a take it or leave it type thing, as y'all talked about earlier, but I think we could probably come up with some language that's pretty fair.
The way the resolution's written that I've got in front of me says what we're authorizing is to enter into an agreement.
Perfect.
So if.
Yeah, and for the record, the light is there, it's working, it stops people and allows people to go. So yeah, the agreement implies it's something going to happen in the future. Well, it kind of already happened, and I think ALDOT woke up one day and realized there was a box they needed to check, and thus we got the agreement. So it is kind of truly a housekeeping item for something that's already occurred.
No problem with it, just want to make sure y'all understood that.
Yeah, I think, what we have in front of us, the recommended action is to enter into an agreement with the state of Alabama, so y'all can modify that to the extent necessary.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, and I'm here also to speak on item number 11. We were awarded planning dollars from the MPO. We've already allocated those dollars. Y'all approved Neil Schaefer to do the corridor safety study on Twin Beach, specifically between 13 and US 98, with an emphasis on the intersection of Twin Beach, Booth, and Founders. And we've been spending that money, but we never accept the money from the MPO, so we're asking you to formally accept that because our treasurer says we're supposed to do things like that.
Okay.
So that is what that is. Since we've already been spending it, we should accept it. And then finally, resolution on item number 13. This is part of our capital drainage improvement projects for 2026, and you authorize the selection of Sawgrass Consulting to do the drainage, which we're referring to Cowpen Creek Tributary Drainage Project. This is really the big part of the project is on Morphy Avenue, just immediately west of the intersection of 13. Your landmark there is the longhorn cow that lives on the north side. We have some drainage failure and some overtopping of that road, as well as we've got a smaller drainage to be improved at the intersection of Thompson Hall and Windmill. So we kind of picked them up in one project, and they're both part of Cowpen Creek Tributary, thus the naming convention. Also, just as a primer, Sawgrass in this proposal will be picking up the length of the south side of the right-of-way on Morphy Avenue from Booth Bishop all the way to 13, and Single Tax is committed to build the sidewalk portion of this project. So we're going to bid that as an additive alternate, and then Single Tax will either reimburse the city or pay for that portion because they have wanted to complete that sidewalk run that we started on Morphy Avenue heading out to 13. And we're asking you to award that contract. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
While he's up here.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you, sir. Evening. How are you?
Good, how are y'all? Okay, I have Resolution 21, so this application for grant was already approved from the previous council. It is budgeted in FY 2026. So I think we are asking for us to go under contract and agreement with AlDOT. So this is our senior bus for our senior residents and homebound residents in Fairhope. We have previously been awarded this grant in 2014 for our bus, which we still drive. So we are looking to update that bus here 12 years later. So I think this is just necessary documentation. We're going to need to proceed with that. But if y'all have any questions, we've got some stats from how many rides are given. If you're curious, with some of our new council members, we pulled some of our data, and this is from 2025. We did 1,891 passenger trips for our seniors here with that bus. So it's being well utilized here. So yeah, that's all I have. And unless you have any questions, I do have two housekeeping things I want to remind everybody of. We are going to be turning the water off at the Fairhope Municipal Pier today through tomorrow, and it'll be back on Wednesday, just so residents are aware of that with the freezing temperatures dropping. And then one other housekeeping with Mardi Gras on the horizon, just to make note that across the board, all parades will be at 6:30 p.m. this year, other than obviously the Mutts parade. But I know everybody's used to that being at 6:45, so just be mindful that parades will all roll at 6:30. So.
That parade's 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock. So.
On Saturday, the 9th? Is it 7th
Saturday,
or
the
9th?
7th.
7th.
Seven.
So.
All right, perfect.
Connie.
Thank you, Paige.
Evening, council.
And Ben, what's
A
going
quick
on?
update. Y'all probably noticed some lane closures on 98. Some of them been us.
I hadn't noticed that yet.
So they're doing good. They actually got pulled off. They went to North Carolina. Our transmission crew did. So they should be back at the end of the week. It's always nice for somebody to go help.
Yeah,
So
it really is.
we told them to go because you never know when we might need them.
Absolutely.
Might need
We
them.
have needed them.
Yeah.
You're right. So, but
Yeah,
I'd say they're probably about 75% done on setting the structures up and down 98. So.
How many crew did you send?
No, we didn't, so our contractors actually went.
Oh,
We're
okay.
not geared up for the cold.
Okay, I got you. That's true.
We deal with hurricanes.
That's right.
Old and
That's
ball of
right.
wax.
So I can speak on number 12. So Nicole does a great job for us finding grants and grant money, especially anytime when it comes to energy saving. We try to jump on if we can use it to any of our facilities, ballparks. We would like to try to go after this money. So Nicole does a great job doing that. So she
Thank
did
you, Nicole.
find one. It's 50%, 50,000, no match. So we're gonna try to get it if y'all are good with it. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So
Fingers
That's
crossed.
about it. We're gonna try to put some LED lights on one of the ballparks, so.
Yeah,
That'd be
please.
nice.
All right, so- But that's it.
All
Any
right.
questions?
No, thank you, sir.
All
Yeah,
right,
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Easy.
Daryl, how you doing?
Hey, good
Hey,
evening.
Daryl.
I'll start with number 14. This is for y'all to reject all the bids for our lime slurry. That we had one bidder, and they kind of botched the bid pretty bad. So we've got to reject it, and we're going to send it back out.
Am I the only one that thinks a lime slurry is something I want to drink? But it says it's for the treatment plant. I'm pretty sure I don't.
Yeah,
so-
I'm pretty sure it sounds like something opposite to me.
It's perfectly fine.
All right.
Any questions on that one?
No.
Okay. Number 15, this is to award Ranger Environmental Services for our on-call contractor. Our current contract is due to here to expire next month, so we sent that out for bid a couple times, and they came in with the best bid. And this is a budgeted item. This is for water and sewer, so it's 200 for water, 200 for sewer.
Do we come close to utilizing that full amount? Or?
Not really. I
Okay.
mean, this is worst case scenario. It's so deep, we don't have the equipment to do it. It's unsafe for us to do it.
Gotcha.
It's the middle of the night. We don't have the resources to do it. We can give them a call and say, hey, we really need some help.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, number 6, I'm sorry, any questions on that one?
No, thank you.
Okay. Number 16 is to approve the engineering firm, Southern Engineering Solutions, to engineer and design a water tank and install a 24-inch water line on the south end of the system. This will be a 2 million gallon tank. We had a lot of interest in this project. I think we had 10 engineering firms that were interested in this, so it was very refreshing to see that there was quite a few firms that were interested in this. Any
I
questions?
hope
on
that gets the competitive pricing going.
Yeah, I hope so. But they built some pretty nice tanks here in Baldwin County. So
Yeah,
I've been placing some phone calls and doing some research, and that's kind of who we came up with. I'm going to skip 17. We're going to go to number 18, and this is kind of a routine. We kind of do this once or twice a year. Just as we have a stockpile of old meters, copper, brass that we need to unload to the highest bidder. We can put that money back into the city instead of throwing it in the trash. And that's what we want to do is recycle it.
Well, we appreciate that.
This goes back in his budget? Yeah? Yeah,
Yes.
right back in it, yeah,
Yep.
good.
Yes, sir. Any questions on that? Okay, thank you.
Thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
Good evening, council. I have item number 24, and this is to do another renewal extension on PFM, our financial advisors. We've been using them for the past couple of years. And they assist me in different avenues, but especially that we've been looking at borrowing money. They assist me looking at bonds versus, the bond market versus banks.
Like them?
Yes.
There we
yes,
go.
yeah. Y'all have any questions for me? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, how you doing this evening?
Oh, not too bad. How are y'all?
Well,
Warm.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting warm, just coming in from the cold. So
Notice your big
Daryl
coat.
was,
You noticed with your big coat.
yeah, yeah. I better take it. I'll take it off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. Not us.
No. Don't let her do that to you.
I got to show off my muscles now. Daryl skipped 17, so I could cover it. We have a cost-sharing agreement between us and Four Star for a 6-inch water main on County Road 32. And I've sent y'all some info on it. I don't know if y'all have looked over it.
I haven't.
There was one thing on and I'm sorry, I noticed this right before I packed up and got in the car to head this way.
Was this the one that was pulled before?
It
Okay,
was,
that's what I thought.
yes.
That was my fault. I had something that I wanted to check on before we put it back on the agenda, but it's the same exact one that was on their last one.
Okay.
Thank you.
But Exhibit E, Marcus, it says we'll deliver by February 28th. I don't think that's going to be, no, that's not going to be possible.
They know we gotta bid it out.
Yep, they have a rep here, and I've talked with them. They're good with whenever they can get it. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll have it by the end of March.
We need to notate that when we're on the approval. Okay. So just to change the date to be determined. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're aware.
I'll just keep that in mind when you're making a motion.
Any questions, y'all?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please feel free to put your coat back on.
I'm about warm now.
I have item 20 directly related to that Cortera conversation we had just a few minutes ago. This will be increasing by $150, that annual service agreement from $7,350 to $7,500. Just want to make sure you didn't have any questions on that. Cool, thanks.
Don't, just seems almost unnecessary to have to come
Don't say that out loud.
$150.
Jack's spinning somewhere right now. He does. You just said that.
All right.
All right. Number 10, just to remind everybody, last council meeting, we had the presentation on the Fairhope Safe Streets for All. This is just the resolution that the city is making progress towards a long-term goal of zero traffic deaths. Which equates to an approximate 50% reduction by the year 2035, which we are already, as they stated last time, we are already on that 50% reduction. So if we just continue on our path, we will hopefully meet that goal. And then the number 28 is an appointment to the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board. Sarah Bogdanovich has been going to the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board meetings as an active participant. Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board does this. They have what they call active participants, and then they recruit from the active participants when they lose a member, which Gary Gover actually stepped down from the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board. So which thank you, Gary, for all of your service on the advisory board. Lots of years. How many years, Gary?
Too many.
Okay. He doesn't want to say.
He's a busy man.
Yeah. So that would be Sarah Bogdanovich.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Council President, if I could just add on that Safe Streets for All, this does give us the opportunity to, if you remember from the last presentation, is to look at those intersections they've identified and apply for grants, because now we have the data to back those up. So it's a great thing for us to adopt that.
Are we saying that we have to commit to a certain percentage of projects? It's not
No,
after, no, it's
no.
just sort of like.
And some of them we've already even done, like the Valana intersection's already on queue to be funded this year, and, the design, I think we're under design for that. And then the Veterans Drive, so there's already a couple things on there we've already done, but it gives us the opportunity to apply for grants, again, because we have the data to back
And
it up.
making a stated goal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Nicole.
All right, I had items 22 and 23. The first one, 22, was to award a bid to Donahue Chevrolet to purchase 5 new Chevy Tahoes.
Yeah, you
This
did
is
real
a
good.
budgeted item.
Yeah. You got 4 for, and 1, right?
know.
5 for 4.
I know.
That's a great deal.
That was pretty good.
Volume
Yeah.
discount.
Yeah.
Any questions about that?
Oh.
Okay.
No.
And then item 23 is to award a bid for our police service weapons, the trade-in and purchase of 60 new weapons.
Right.
Good,
Any
so
questions? All right, thank you.
Pretty much dialed in. Thank you. All right. Getting close now. I'm missing 1 or 2.
19.
8 and 19. Let's see. 8 is 8 be mayor maybe, or any of us can kind of go over that. And then 19.
I can talk about that, or Chris is here.
All right. All right, well, let's, perfect timing, 10-minute break, and we will be back to start the council meeting promptly at 6. Everybody, we're about to get started. If y'all wouldn't mind taking your seats.
Bring it to order. Hey. Oh, God, up in here. Oh, well.
Hey, joining us this evening to say the prayer, and we'll have the invocation and then the pledge is going to be Reverend Dr. Gary Cox, the interim pastor at Eastern Shore Presbyterian Church. Good evening.
Let's pray together. Father in heaven, thank you for the privilege of self-governance that you have blessed us with, whereby we, the people, elect our representatives to act on our behalf and in the best interests of the citizenry. Forgive us, O Lord, when we take this for granted and fail to participate in the process or fail to properly hold our council members, mayors, representatives, governors, and other elected officials responsible for faithfully carrying out their oaths of office. As this elected body of men and women meets tonight to do the business of the people of Fairhope, may you give them the wisdom they need, the insights they may lack, and the discernment needed to make careful and prayerful decisions. Bless their deliberations with thoughtfulness and gracious deportment as they extend respect to those who appear before them and in their discussions among themselves. May they grant one another the grace of charity rather than harshness where it is unwarranted. May the business and needs of this community be fairly and honestly expressed, while always being honest, fiscally responsible, and above board. And may you, O Lord, not be denigrated or belittled, but honored by the decisions and mandates this council makes, knowing that both the government and the governed will one day give an account before the ultimate lawgiver. Keep these civil servants and their families safe and free from harm. And thank you for the hard work and countless hours expended by each of them in the exercise of their duties for the betterment and well-being of Fairhope, Alabama, for many years to come. And I ask all these things in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Thank you, Dr. Cox. Let's see, council, the first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the January 12th regular city council meeting and the minutes of the January 12th work session.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
We've got a motion and a second. Are there any changes, deletions, modifications?
Beautiful.
All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Next item is report of the mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Conyers, I think probably Skip Jones is probably upset that I'm here. I think I was going to yield all my time to him. Where's Skip at?
Right behind you, yeah.
Right there. So we're going to let him speak in just a minute. I was supposed to be in Washington, D.C., but I'm here instead of there, thank goodness, because of the weather. Couple things I just wanted to mention. We did have the Dogwood Trail Pageant last weekend. We're going to be transferring in March to a new court, and just want to thank the Optimist Club and to the Dogwood Committee for putting that on. That is such a great event, and just really shines a light on all the positive things happening participating with our youth here in our community, and what a great job they do. And just really want to thank them and look forward to seeing the new court in March. Also, we have State of the City this Thursday, beginning at 5 here in the Civic Center. That gives everybody an opportunity to visit with most of our departments, ask questions, get a brief update on the city, what's going on, what happened in 25, and what to look forward in 26. So that's open to the public, obviously. Also, before we meet again, we have two Mardi Gras parades. We have the KOER parade and also the MMOR parade. Both of those are on February 7th with the Mutts parade at 3 and KOER at 6:30, not 6:45. So everybody make note of that. Also, just want to speak to agenda item number 8. Council will be adopting a resolution in support of all efforts to protect the health of Mobile Bay. We all know how important Mobile Bay is to the quality of life we all enjoy here along the Eastern Shore, and specifically in Fairhope. How important it is to not only just tourism, but ecotourism, recreation, economic development, everything that we do, and really want to make sure that people know publicly that we will do anything and everything that we can to protect the health of Mobile Bay. Hopefully, we speak by our actions, not just by our words, because we do so many great things to protect the bay, like all the upgrades we're doing to our wastewater system to make sure we minimize SSOs, our Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board and everything they do. We just spoke of something on the work session tonight about source point testing, those kind of things. So there are so many things that we do in Fairhope to protect the health of Mobile Bay, but this just publicly lets folks know that we do recognize the fact that we do want to protect it, and are doing that publicly. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Fairhope Center of the Writing Arts President, Skip Jones.
Well, I have to change up my notes a little bit because Sherry wasn't going to be here, and I was going to say probably the reason she let me speak was because she didn't have to listen to me, but but she's here. But
we know you're a legend.
But I thought this was a good time to come for two reasons. One is we have two council members that may not be familiar with our program, and the other is I wanted to specifically thank the previous council and the mayor for the change that we've had in our support for our program. We were, I don't know whether you all know, but when the library was going to be built, there was a big warehouse and a little cottage on that property. And the city was going to tear all of it down, which they did with the big building and built the library. And we got a little group together and influenced the city council to save the little cottage behind it that was built in 1920. And our idea was to provide it as a place that we could have writers from all over the world come spend a month and have a retreat to do whatever they wanted to do. So that got done, and we got a lease from the city for $1 a year to have the little building. And we got a group together and it formed a 501c3 corporation and restored the little building. We spent about $40,000 or $50,000. And we've had a good program since then. We started advertising our residency program around the country, and we've had 101 writers in that little building since we started in 2004. Except for the generous gift the city makes of the building, we're funded completely by private donations. And up till 2020, we really paid for everything, maintenance on the building and everything else. But when Sherry was first elected, and largely through Richard Johnson's increased awareness of our program, the city has really gotten involved with us and has generously paid for major maintenance efforts on the building, and it's been wonderful for them to do that and to recognize our program. Sherry said at one time when we kind of were making this change that it's a city building and it's being used for a purpose that really benefits the city, so why shouldn't the city be doing it? And we really had not made a big effort to create that, but she did. And so we're really appreciative at this point that the council and Sherry have been very good friends, and they've been a major help. They put a new roof on the building 2 years ago. We refinished the floors at city expense, and things have really been improved since we've all kind of gotten together. So on behalf of our board, I came here to describe that and to thank you all for what you've done very much. 3 of my board members are here, I think. Corey Young, Julie Friedman, and Margaret Davis. And Richard doesn't want me to say anything about him, but he was really instrumental in kind of bringing this together. So thank you all very much, and I appreciate being able to make these remarks to you, and thank you for what you all are doing.
Thank you, Skip.
Thank you all. Appreciate that. All right, next item on the agenda is public participation for agenda items. And this would be items 5 through 28. And then you'll have an opportunity at the end of the evening to address the council on any topic. But if you would like to speak to items 5 through 28, the floor is open. You have up to 3 minutes. Just give your name and address to the city clerk. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and close public participation and move on to council comments. Councilman Gammon.
None at this time, thank you.
Councilman Robinson.
I don't have any comments.
Councilwoman Booth.
I just want to talk about a meeting that Joshua and I attended with Sherry, and we went to the Alabama League of Municipalities this past week. And I wanted to let everybody know that I feel so honored to the fact that we love our mayor. It's obvious. And not only do we love her, all the other mayors and the council people participated all over the state of Alabama, and everybody loves her so much, and I just want to share that. I'm so proud of Sherry. And this means that she is the president, and she follows all of these rules, and so we are legal.
All right. I just wanted to say congrats to Coach Carter. I heard he is retiring, and congratulations to him on a long, distinguished career as a football coach, and appreciate his service and what he meant to the team and the young men on the team, I know in particular. So, and thank you. I don't see Gary. I think he may have left, but thanks to all of Gary's service on the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board. That's appreciated too. Yeah, well, I just figured I'd say it while it was fresh on my mind. All right, moving along. Item number 5 is final adoption of an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1233, known as the City of Fairhope Business License Code, Chapter 8, Section 22. And that's license classifications, additional NAICS codes, and fee schedules. It was introduced at the January 12th meeting. It's really just a cleanup, and Jennifer's here.
Just housekeeping items, giving me more options to choose from than just generally putting everybody in a generic classification.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All right, clerk, if you'll call the question.
Place 2.
Aye.
Council President.
Aye.
Place 4.
Aye.
Place 5.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Pass. Thank you. All right, item number 6 is a final adoption of an ordinance and annexation of Audi Inc., FAV 181 LLC, and Fairhope Single Tax Corporation of a property located at 10101 County Road 48, Fairhope, Alabama, to zone B2 General Business District. And this was also introduced in the January 12th meeting. Hunter?
I think we had a
we pretty well
discussion on
discussed
that, but if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Questions for Hunter on the annexation?
A second?
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
That's good for the city.
All right, clerk, if you call the question.
Place 2.
Aye.
Council President.
Aye.
Place 4. Place 5.
Aye.
All right, that one passes. Item number 7 is a site plan review and approval, and this is the request of the applicant, SE Civil LLC, on behalf of the owner, FST Sildi LLC, for site plan approval for the Fairhope Boarding House. The property is approximately 0.2 acres and is zoned B2 General Business District. Property is located at 301 Fairhope Avenue, and the Planning Commission unanimously recommends approval of SR 25.08.
So, Mr.
Council President, before we get started, I just want to correct. We did change it in the packet, but the agenda, the planning commission,
Was
and
not
as we'll
unanimous.
see, it was not unanimous.
Yes,
There
I was
was
gonna
one
ask about
dissenting
that.
vote.
Okay.
So we'll go over that in the vote and that conversation. So this is the site plan for this project that was heard by the Fairhope Planning Commission in January 5th to be exact, 2026. There was a corresponding subdivision case for that. The Planning Commission is the authority of that, so they did pass that MOP application. Mike Jeffries is here and knows a lot of the technical things, so if there's any conversation, you might have two of us to bounce some questions off of. Just to kind of give you the high-level review, this is in the CBD. It's on the corner of Fairhope Avenue and South Church Street. It is Zone B2, as the map on the left shows, the zoning map, and the right is an aerial that showed, when we started these maps, showed the existing conditions. As most of you know, that building has been removed. That's the old hardware store, and it is a grass lot at the moment. To give you a little bit of history, in September, the Planning Commission approved a 6-unit MOP for the subject site to allow this was in 2019 to allow renovation of this 2-story building at the time. Of course, that changed, and on December 1st, 2025, the Planning Commission held a meeting and reviewed a new application for the current proposal. Following discussion of that meeting, the commission and the application was tabled to allow some additional time to address some concerns. The Planning Commission did review that revised application at the January 5th, 2026 meeting and is recommending approval. We'll go over those details. Some of the site plan here was reviewed and revised. There were actually 3 conditions the Planning Commission recommended to be approved there. It's down to 1. Both of those were clarified between the Planning Commission meeting and now. One of those on the northeast side of the property, as you see, there's a transformer pad that was increased in size by a few inches, maybe a foot on both sides. You'll see those dimensions. The proposed second and third floor, well, let me go back and just kind of give you the broad. There are essentially 2 tenant spaces on the facing Fairhope Avenue. Tentatively thinking about med spa, retail, maybe restaurants, not locked in there. It's whatever the zoning ordinance will bear and is allowed by right. The rear side of the property is a lobby, and you'll see on the west side, you'll see a little gift shop and then kind of the lobby for the boarding house. On the right side, you see a vehicle there that is in a parking space, internal parking space. A boarding house requires someone to live on site, and that unit requires a parking space, so that's where that is provided. The residential unit is actually on the 3rd floor. I'm sorry, that's on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
You've got a clear space on the left-hand side where that residential unit is. The 3rd floor has 13 boarding house rooms, as well as 13 on the 2nd floor. And then the 3rd floor has a proposed rooftop terrace. The hatched area is the space under cover, including the stairwells and the elevator. Elevations are included, south elevation on top. The west elevation from Church Street is on the bottom side of the screen. East, budding the former Bowman and Barrel property is on the bottom, and the north elevation from the alley is on top of this page. The technical merits of the site plan review that looks at things are compliant. There is a loading zone that was hatched out in that First Street section is included, and they did meet that requirement. Building, there was some, of course, building heights and the stories are being met. We did ask for some clarification on the rooftop terrace, because a rooftop terrace is allowed as an accessory use to a principal use that happens somewhere else in the building. And how this is response here was given, and I kind of want to read some of these, because the second slide gets into some questions that the planning commissioners had and want to be clear. The rooftop terrace is designed for the 25% of structures. There's also an additional 7.5% allowed for the stairwells and elevators, and those can go up to 45 feet. They're meeting that requirement. The rooftop terrace is designed, and this is applicants, to serve meals and drinks / bar for the boarding house customers and guests. The northwestern portion was identified as a rooftop terrace space, seasonally used as open-air extension of the restaurant bar, and the southern portion was identified as an area reserved for temporary use, which may include the installation of a temporary structure for special events. And that anchorage in the building will be required. The main row roof was for the rooftop equipment, and there's a note that all owners shall have the right to them under the zoning ordinance, with the total occupant load of the rooftop terrace being no more than 300 people. Just to be clear, a rooftop bar on top of a 3-story building that seats 300 people is not allowed by the zoning ordinance. So just want to make sure, and I think that was clarified a little bit with some of the questions during the planning commission. And Mr. Connors, I think you led some of those questions and asked about the percentage of the rooftop terrace, and this related to the temporary permanent use versus the principal and accessory use. Chris Williams, our land use attorney, is here, and some of those questions were answered. I think he gave a great answer for that. So this is the draft minutes. It's not the final form of our minutes. They won't be approved until Monday's planning commission meeting. But the city has an enforcement arm which looks at violations of the zoning ordinance. And I'm kind of summarizing. I don't want to read this verbatim. If the full-time manager moved out of the boarding house, for example, it would not be in compliance with the boarding house rules and approval. We would have to enforce, whether that is business license, whatever that enforcement action becomes. Likewise, if the temporary use on the rooftop for temporary structures and is used on, I think we've had a 24-hour period where the structure can be up. That's completely legal. If it does turn into a rooftop bar that seats 300 people 24/7, 365, that is some enforcement arm that we would have to take a look at, because that's clearly not the intention as they're proposing. Any other rules of the zoning ordinance, complaints from neighbors and where the gray areas may be in this, because there is a lot of uses here, and there's not a very clear definition of what when does an accessory use become a principal use. And a lot of that stems, I think, on the impact of neighboring properties. So while I would love to have a very clear black and white answer as we move forward with recommending approval, it's not always there, and we'll have to address those as they may come in the future, whether that's next year or 20 years from now. With that said, I will move on. The mechanical equipment, while it's not shown, the applicant is aware that all that falls under the 40-foot height limit. And the architect, we do have one condition, just the architect shall verify at the time of building permit that all of that equipment is falling under the 40-foot. The CBD, as we mentioned, does require parking for residential units. There is one, and it is included. Access is from the Arts Alley project. There was conversation of this impacts on the surrounding neighborhood, and while I think Mike and I talked about this, we do have some concerns there, but it's not very clearly prescribed that they're going to be. I think they have the opportunity to solve those problems with administration and how they're going to handle loading and all the things that go with running all of these businesses in one property. They did add, we were certainly concerned with some of the, or I guess the lack of storage for those housekeeping items. There was some storage added to the site between the December, I might be mixing up my dates here, between our first bringing that up for concern and what we recommended for approval. So we do appreciate that. Like we said, at the top of the screen is where staff wrote the report for the Planning Commission meeting. We recommended 3 conditions. The Planning Commission did recommend approval with those 3 conditions. 2 have been resolved. So both the Planning Commission, with a vote of 8 yeses and 1 no, and staff recommend approval of SR 25.08 with 1 condition: the architect shall certify at the time of building permit that all mechanical equipment is at or below 40 feet. I'm here for questions. Mike is as well. I think we have a team from the architects, the engineers, the potential, or the owners, if there's any questions of them as well.
Yeah, council, this time I think it'd be good to just go ahead and open the floor for comments and questions, and feel free to bounce between Chris, Hunter, Mike, and the team from the developer, if y'all would. So just open the floor if anyone wants to lead in.
Yeah, I mean, I think just in going through this, my concern would be that 300-person rooftop bar, and, you know, I mean, something new shows up, and I think you're gonna have issues with how many people are there on a regular basis. I mean, obviously, for the business owner, that's great, but for those responsible for compliance in our ordinances, I think that's a real problem. But obviously, assuming something like this is approved, that's up to us as the enforcement arm to monitor that and make sure that it's in compliance. And then if it's not, then taking the appropriate steps to make sure that it is, because it's not just an ordinance issue. I mean, it's a safety issue. I mean, there are plenty of things that go into that cause me concern. But as long as we have an opportunity and a mechanism to regulate and monitor that and change that if necessary, then I'm more comfortable going forward with that. But just the thought of that creates an issue for me.
Chris, do you want to address that mechanism?
Sure, and I'm sure that the developer may chime in on this too, but I think the 300 number was raised in response to a request from the building official in terms of the maximum occupancy load of the rooftop. They weren't suggesting that they were going to have 300 people at the bar at a regular event. I think they were asked by the building official in terms of what that load would be based on building code criteria, and that is where that number came from. So,
I mean, I think from a profit standpoint, you'd probably prefer 300 people there as many times as you can get them there. And who knows, that might be the case, but from just a safety concern, that's a real issue.
certainly, and the zoning ordinance very clearly says that the accessory use, which if we're looking at the rooftop and the bar or whatever it is up there, it can't be creating a degree of impact on the neighbors of noise, traffic, congestion, things coming off. I mean, if there's things being thrown off the roof, things falling off the roof, I mean, obviously the city is going to be able to step in and immediately address that, and certainly can take corrective action on multiple fronts, I think, from a safety perspective.
What's the total square feet for that temporary space? Do we have that? Y'all know?
Not off the top of my head. I can
Just, I mean,
that.
I think you'd be hard pressed to fit 300 people up there comfortably. There's 3 toilets. I mean, that's not a wedding I want to go to.
Yeah. So the shaded area is 25%. You can see, and I'm sorry I can't zoom in here. It's stuck in PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find the measurement lines, but it's not an equal square and neat zones. I mean, could you have standing room? Probably.
I'm gonna look back at
Yeah.
Ron Baker is the architect.
We were saying
You
that
might know that off the top
this
of
was
your head.
submitted because of a request from like architecturally, not necessarily like a load limit, not necessarily we want 300 people up here.
Yeah, absolutely not. I think, and they can speak to that, but I
And
think
Ron
it was.
Baker's here with Walker.
Hi, Ryan.
Ryan Baker, Walcott Owens Renell, architect, and the total square footage per floor or plate of the building is 8,000 square feet. So that means it's about 8,000 square feet maximum on the roof, but there's mechanical equipment.
Yeah, it's not all
there's-
usable.
It's not all usable, and it is. It was based off of occupant load of what's maximum occupant load based off of the building code, and that relates back to how big your stairwells have to be, and lots of other things. And it's not that you could fit 300 people up there, or that they will have 300 people up there. That was the question that was asked by staff, and that's how we're, what is the maximum occupant load up there? So we gave that response, and then that turned into this. So I don't know.
Your restaurant seats less than 50 people.
Right, that's right. I mean, it's the intention is that the boarding house is serving their meals. As a boarding house, they'll be serving meals, and the bar up there as well. And it's, as they said, it's for boarding house guests and their guests to come use it. So it's like, it could be, and the thought of, is there a temporary thing with the wedding up there because somebody's renting out the boarding house for a wedding? I don't know. There could be 100 people up there. I don't know what that number would be, but it's not the intention of having 300
So
people up there every night. No.
This rooftop bar will not be open to the public.
No, the guests of the boarding house are public members. I mean, it's public, but
Okay.
it's going to be through the boarding house. To go through, you have to get admitted through the boarding house, go to the front desk. They're going to have to track the people that come and going from there. It's not like it's just, I guess.
Have you talked with other people that have rooftop bars and restaurants?
Have I personally?
Yeah, I was just curious because you're saying things that incidents could happen, and I was just wondering if you'd ever reached out to other. I know it's a very modern thing to have in different communities.
I have not communicated.
Okay.
I don't know if the developer or anybody else has. No.
I was just speaking to the concerns that.
What's the maximum occupancy of the boarding house rooms? Like, what size beds are those? I'm a hotel guy, so I'm just curious.
There's different rooms. Some of them
Right, so are those two queens, two fulls?
Those were two kings, I think, or some of them are two queens. There's different sizes and different rooms.
Yeah.
So
Looks like a
it might
like
be
a king.
two queens and a king. I can't remember. There's multiple rooms. So, and there's a couple of suites that are
Yeah.
all suite rooms. There's a sitting room and there's a bed area for those. And first, I just want to say thank you all for thinking about this, reviewing it. We spent a long time talking through the staff. Really, as Jimmy has heard of all of this before, since August, we've been meeting with staff, talking through it, coming up, trying to correct things to make sure we're in compliance with the ordinances. I think everything that we tried to do did get to that point where we were meeting all the ordinance requirements. As he said, we were in compliance with everything there, and it was good conversations with staff and with the planning commission to get to this point.
Well,
And,
Ryan, I'm going to speak for our community. Everybody's concerned about bringing this into our community because of parking. Have y'all done a study? I think I heard that you did.
Well, so I'll just speak to that for a second. So, I mean, that's been my concern as well. It's been the parking issue. There is sort of a workaround that's come in as a boarding house. That's no longer an option under the planning and zoning ordinance. But I don't know that we can really hold them. They are meeting the parking requirements for how this property is zoned. So I think that while that would be my concern too, I don't think that is a reason that you can, if you were not in favor of this because of that reason, that's not acceptable.
It's no longer a requirement for them to
Correct.
provide.
They are providing their one spot that they are required to provide.
Those for finding the loophole.
Well,
But
and I think there's also
that has now been
closed.
I mean, the
First and
really
only.
the big positive though is that the parking deck is directly behind, and the parking deck has been multiple studies. I'm sure y'all have seen them, heard of them, are vastly underutilized, and the boarding house intends to direct their guests to utilize the parking deck more. So
I
mean,
talked to some of the store owners, and they said that the parking deck is always full at the bottom, but
never at the
never
top.
on the second floor, so.
That's right. And when we had the planning commission meeting, pretty much every surrounding property owner came out and spoke in favor of it. John Bethea said, I own every building around it. I think that's what he said, and he was fucking favorite. So I know there's a lot of community support for this project as well.
I mean, I think it's a nice building, a nice project. I mean, I think it will look good there. Again, my concern the whole time has been the parking. That's not really on the table anymore, the way I see it. So my only other questions were related to the rooftop terrace and what percentage of that makes up, and then the building height. And I mean, it feels to me like everything's been addressed, and I know Eric Cortina's isn't here tonight. He had several recommendations and questions, and I think y'all have addressed and met those, and
Yeah, and just for those that aren't familiar with how we got here, I mean, this was something that has been in discussion for 2 years-ish. And there were a lot of parking options discussed, but never something that could be agreed upon that satisfied us or that satisfied or made sense for the developer. And they ultimately found the boarding house option, which didn't require any parking. And so, you know, that's sort of, I mean, that's a lesson for us as a council moving forward to clean up zoning and be aware of those kind of things when you're in these sort of negotiations.
And it's had several renditions too of what this would be.
Yeah,
So,
the head of the Historic Commission came to the Planning Commission meeting as well and spoke in favor of the new design. And so we had lots of conversations about that as well, so.
Yeah, one comment is that permanent resident is obviously not supposed to have a family. Because I don't know where they're sleeping. But I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think what we're going to think about, council, is there will be people trying to park overnight on the street, 100%.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
And
so
that may
that'll be
be
something we have to address separately from this, but
that may create something that does
will.
require a separate
Action.
but we'll just wait and see what happens. I mean, if they do a good job of directing them to the parking deck,
I
if
don't
people
see
will
this being
comply, then great.
I don't see this being a 300-person. I think that's the image people have. Is there's going to be 300 people up there raging every single weekend, and I just don't see that being possible.
But I could see it being rented out as
Yeah,
the
I mean-
entire place for a wedding or a rehearsal dinner.
100, 150-person wedding probably could do it every once in a while, right? But it's not on days like today, that's for sure.
No.
No. Council,
Thank you very much.
any additional questions
Thanks,
or
Ryan.
comments for
I appreciate you.
Ryan, for Chris, for Hunter, for anyone else on the development team?
No, I did count the beds, so it looks like there's, not counting the resident, 37 beds, so you're thinking 74 people probably. I don't see a whole lot of sofa beds or anything, so you're not cramming people in like the place I work at with cribs and rollaway beds and everything else.
Maybe you could manage it.
I have a family.
All right, well, council, any further discussion, or would anyone like to?
And Brian touched on it. I just want to, one of the good things, I think, the Historic Preservation Commission, they did have representation and suggested some ideas of really looking at the historic building, maybe incorporating that into the art of the facility. I think that was well received by that, but certainly not a requirement, but it was a good, positive conversation, so do want to compliment.
Council President, I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we've got a motion for approval.
Subject to staff recommendations.
I'll second.
And a second. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Ryan and Brad and team.
Everybody's gonna sleep good tonight.
Let's see, item number 8 is a resolution that the city of Fairhope adopts a resolution in support for all efforts to protect the health of Mobile Bay, preserve the quality of life of our residents, and safeguard the natural resources that draw so many people to live in and visit coastal Alabama.
Happy to make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second that.
Got a motion and a second.
I just hope people read the resolution.
I was just
It's-
about to
I
say,
don't
do
know
you
if
think
should-
we ought to read
should
it,
read it?
maybe?
Yeah,
Why don't we read
it's worth
it
reading.
just for the sake of reading it? All right. The resolution in support for all efforts to protect the health of Mobile Bay. Whereas the city of Fairhope supports all efforts to protect the health of Mobile Bay, we know the bay is the greatest natural resource on the eastern shore, directly impacting our economy, tourism, and quality of life. It is one of the primary reasons Fairhope and the eastern shore become such a desirable places to live, and whereas we also recognize that regulations and best practices change over time and have heard from citizens about concerns related to thin layer placement, mud dumping, and coal ash, it is essential that the data and science is followed and that Alabama's leaders have the opportunity to periodically reevaluate these standards to ensure we remain responsible stewards of Mobile Bay. And whereas we are committed to working with our state and federal partners, industry leaders, and environmental organizations to protect Mobile Bay, preserve the quality of life for our residents, and safeguard the natural resources that draw so many people to live in and visit coastal Alabama. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the city of Fairhope, Alabama, that the city of Fairhope adopts a resolution in support for all efforts to protect the health of Mobile Bay, preserve the quality of life for our residents, and safeguard natural resources that draw so many people to live in and visit coastal Alabama. So that's the entirety of the resolution. I think we already had a motion and a second.
We did.
All right. Any further discussion or comments?
Just if you vote no, it's worse than voting against Girl Scout cookies, so just.
Duly noted.
Yeah, I do think it's important because obviously, I know I've heard a lot about it, but we're kind of making a stance that you don't have to be either environmentally responsible or economical development, right? You can have both things at the same time, so.
I think you need to have both. I
Yeah.
think they go hand in hand, really, is what I think
should
people would say.
happen.
All right, all in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Resolution passes. Thank you, council. Item number 9 is a resolution that the city of Fairhope, Alabama, enter into an agreement with the state of Alabama, acting by and through the Alabama Department of Transportation, relating to a project for the intersection improvements to include installation of traffic signals and equipment on State Road 181 and Thrashing Boulevard. The project state public road and bridge funds shall be limited to $250,000 for this project. As Richard said earlier, there's actually no cost to us. This is just something we need to, I guess, put a stamp on, basically. Any questions or comments?
No.
Like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Item number 10 is a resolution that the Fairhope City Council adopts the Fairhope Safe Streets for All Safety Action Plan and commits to making progress toward a long-term goal of 0 traffic deaths and serious injuries, with an interim goal of maintaining the current fatal and serious crash rate trend, which equates to an approximate 50% rate reduction by the year 2035. And this would hopefully allow us access to some grants to continue with some of the projects we're doing to make our city safer and the traffic flow safer.
I make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second?
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Thank you, Nicole, and the team that worked on this. Great stuff in here.
All right, all in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item number 11 is a resolution that the Fairhope City Council accepts a funding agreement from the Eastern Shore Metropolitan Planning Organization, the MPO, in the amount of $40,000 for the Twin Beach and Booth Road corridor study, and authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to sign any and all necessary documents. And as Richard said, Kim requested that he ask for the money since they had already allocated it to us and we're spending it. Might as well get it.
Smart.
Approve as submitted.
All right, we got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Item number 12 is a resolution that the city council approves submission of a grant application to the ADECA Energy Efficient Retrofit funding opportunity in the amount of $50,000 and authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to sign any and all necessary documents. If awarded, The funding will be used to replace lighting structures in at least one Fairhope City Park with energy-efficient lights, no match required. So this is a grant we're just going to submit and hope we get it. No guarantee, and if we do, there's no out-of-pocket match required.
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Item number 13 is a resolution that Mayor Sherry Sullivan is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Sawgrass Consulting LLC for the Cowpen Creek Tributary Drainage Project with a not-to-exceed amount of $51,600. And I had called Richard about this earlier in the week, and I was trying to figure out where exactly this was, and as he indicated during our work session, we're really talking about two different locations, County Road 13 in Morphe and Windmill and Thompson Hall. And Cowpen Creek is sort of the watershed, and so that's the naming convention.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion
Second?
and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item number 14 is a resolution that the city council reject all bids for two lime slurry systems of City of Fairhope treatment plants 2 and 6 and authorize the rebid under the Code of Alabama. Jay, is that your new go-to?
lime
Sonic?
He's gonna be getting the drink of the two
All right.
limes, sorry.
He's heading to Sonic after
Get
this.
Daryl to bring one up for us.
All right, would anyone like to make a motion to reject all the bids on this?
I make a motion to reject all the bids.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Item 15 is a resolution to award bid to Ranger Environmental Services LLC for the emergency on-call contractor services for water and wastewater department annual contract amount not to exceed $400,000. That's $200,000 for water and $200,000 for wastewater. And Daryl indicated that they typically don't come anywhere close to that. This is just in the event of a pretty big emergency or something that's just out of our scope.
Approve.
Got a motion
Second?
and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Item number 16 is a resolution that the city council approves the selection by the evaluation team for professional engineering services for the new $2 million gallon water tower and the 24-inch water main to Southern Engineering Solutions, Inc., and hereby authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council. So this is for engineering for a new water tower.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any
And Council
further?
President, just for those that didn't watch the work session, this is the one we had 10 requests for, is that right?
10 bidders.
10 bidders, yeah.
Yes.
So, great.
So that's a lot of interest.
Went through a whole process, so great things.
So we should be doing good on that.
Engineering
Yes,
firms.
I hope we have 10 bidders on the contract too. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Item number 17 is a resolution that the city council hereby authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute a cost-sharing agreement for water main upgrade along County Road 32 between Four Star USA Real Estate Group and the city of Fairhope, which shall include the upgrade, replacement, and extension of the existing water main line approximately 5,167 feet from County Road 33 to Four Star property. Council, when, if anyone chooses to make a motion on this, please just ask to modify that resolution to be determined.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to pass the resolution contingent upon changing Exhibit E, changing the date in Exhibit E to be determined.
I'll second that.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Thank you for making that modification. Any additional comments or questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you, council. Item number 18 is a resolution that the mayor and city treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to dispose of the personal property owned by the city of Fairhope, Alabama, approximately 400 scrap copper and brass water meters by the following method: sold for scrap or recycle at the highest offered value.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion?
Thanks for recycling and getting money for it.
There you go.
Bringing money back into our city.
Agreed.
Right.
If they're just sitting around collecting dust, so. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Item number 19 is a resolution that Mayor Sherry Sullivan is hereby authorized to execute the development agreement between the City of Fairhope and BCP Acquisitions LLC regarding utility service to a single-family residential development on County Road 34, conditioned on annexation as set forth in the agreement. Chris,
Was it
Jay,
somebody-
Rob, if any of you
Sure, I'm
wanna
happy
just
to.
touch.
This is a development agreement, a little bit of a unique situation. Our ordinance requires annexation under certain circumstances to serve water. This proposed development at one point was contiguous to the corporate limits of the city and then became uncontiguous, not contiguous to the city. And basically through this agreement, through some negotiations with the developer, the developer's going through the county to get approval for a single-family residential development and has requested that in part of this agreement that they would annex into the city for both water and sewer service. The development is proposed to be a total of not to exceed 25 lots. They would be annexing in under the agreement R1B. And so it's actually double the lot size of our standard R1 lots, 30,000 square foot per lot. So these are large lots, single-family homes. They're currently going before the county for approval. And so this would be an agreement where after they get county approval, they're agreeing to annex into the city in exchange for our providing will serve or availability letters for both water and sewer for the development.
And that's about a 3/4 of an acre lot size.
Good size.
So pretty good size. All right. Council, any questions for Chris on that? I think you did a good job of
Yeah, I think
laying that out.
I think that's a good workout. I mean, obviously, the ordinance requires them to annex in to get our water, and this agreement basically says they've got to do just that.
Where would they go for water otherwise?
Depending on the size, that's maybe a Daryl or Noel question, potentially, a well, depending on the lot size, they could have their own wells. Also, there's other sewer providers out there too, potentially, so this would, bring them in and have both water and sewer provided.
Would like to make a motion on this? or-
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion
Second it.
and a second. Any further discussion?
Council President, I just want to add, on any of these subdivisions, we do run them through our models to make sure that we can service them. So if people do have questions about capacity, or if we're able to serve them, yes, we're able to serve them. We would not say that we could if we could not. So just want to make sure everybody knows that.
And I think, and this is something obviously for a future date about the way that ordinance is written. The way that our ordinance is currently written, we don't really have discretion to whether or not to provide them as a contiguous piece or now non-contiguous, but still in the service area as defined currently, we don't really have much discretion in this. Am I correct in that?
Correct, if they're not contiguous, but we have the availability and ability to serve them.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
That was weak.
Yeah, it was.
Well,
There's
there's
a
some-
half-hearted
hey,
aye.
there's
Half-hearted
Some you love and some you have to stomach.
They're
Yes.
beautiful homes, the way they're gonna design them. Really pretty. And it's a local guy that's doing it.
All right. Item number 20 is a resolution that the City of Fairhope approves to amend Resolution 5608-25 for the annual subscription for Corterra Services from Corterra, Inc. for the gas department to increase the annual service fee from $7,350 to $7,500. All other costs remain the same, so $150 increase. And-
Motion to approve.
All right, we got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. I just didn't hear a lot down on that side. But maybe y'all were
Sometimes my yays are very,
very,
very hushed.
very hushed.
The tough 150 for you?
Right.
Well, it could be my hearing on this side, I don't know. All right, item number 21 is a resolution that the Fairhope City Council enter into an agreement with the state of Alabama by and through ALDOT relating to public transportation with the partial funding of the Federal Transit Administration to implement the Section 5310 grant funding to purchase a 9-passenger van for the Nick Center, and that the council authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to sign any and all necessary documentation relating to the funding agreement. And I believe Paige mentioned we've had the prior one since 2012 or 2014. We've gotten a lot of use out of it. Oh, wow.
How many trips did she say?
I make a,
It was
I make
a,
motion
how
to
many
approve
trips
it.
did you say you,
1891 and 2025.
okay.
That trips are people? Trips. Well,
That's
great.
quite a bit.
It's a lot.
So we're getting our mileage out of the one we have, and it's time to upgrade.
Very helpful
All right,
And
so.
for our
you have
community.
a motion.
I got a motion.
I will second said
And a
motion.
second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Next item is a resolution to award a bid number 26-018 to Donahue Chevrolet for 5 new 2026 or equivalent Chevrolet Tahoe two-wheel drive commercial for the police department with a bid proposal not to exceed $274,476.70. And this,
Do you know why they picked Chevrolet and not Ford?
well, they got a pretty good
I'm
price
just-
on
I'm
these.
picking
I know,
up
she's just messing with me.
I am.
I'll remember that.
All right, any questions for the chief, or would anyone like to make a motion? Just budgeted items
So moved.
coming under budget. We got a motion
Second?
and a second. All in favor of the motion?
Just want to say,
Oh, yes, I'm
again,
sorry.
chief, great job. Under budget, budgeted for 4, got 5. She's a key negotiator, so
All right.
don't cross her on a traffic stop.
She does carry a weapon though, so there's increased negotiation skills.
Yes, all right.
Thank you for buying American.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the next item is a resolution to award bid number 26-019 to Sportsman Headquarters LLC, doing business as Walter Craig for police service weapons, trade-in and purchase with a purchase cost not to exceed $52,605.60, and a trade-in of $230 per weapon and $15 per magazine. And this is to acquire, how many was that total? It was a bunch of, 60, and she was, to get all that was within about $195 of the budget. That was pretty impressive.
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second?
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Item 24 is a resolution that the Fairhope City Council authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute extension number 2 of the PFM Financial Advisors LLC engagement letter agreement for the city of Fairhope for professional consulting services as financial advisor for a year-long services with a not-to-exceed retainer of $20,000. This professional service is exempt from formal bidding per the Code of Alabama, and Kim utilizes them for various things for doing mapping and projections and analyzing, bonds versus bank funding, and we've got a lot of needs potentially coming up for borrowing money, and I think that Kim feels good having them as a backup source to run ideas by when we're looking at that, so it's probably money well spent.
Absolutely. I'll move to approve the motion, resolution.
All right, you got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or comments? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item number 25 5 is a resolution that Mayor Sherry Sullivan is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Evergreen Solutions LLC for professional services for the classification and compensation study with a not-to-exceed contract amount of $48,500.
I make a motion to approve.
We got
A second.
a motion and a second, and this is well under budget.
Yep, 26,000.
Great job.
Yes, thank you.
Well done. And they're supposed to do it in about 6 months, so pretty fast as well.
It'll
so
probably end up costing us more in the end, but.
Maybe. Yeah, well, once we get
Yeah,
it
the
back.
salary
that's
portion.
right.
Different bucket, different
Gotta
fiscal
stay
year, right?
tuned.
Let's move on.
Celebrate our wins when we get them.
That's right.
All right, we've got
Thank you, Hannah.
motion and a second. Any further comments or discussion?
No.
All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I forgot to say that.
All right.
Oh.
Motion passes. Item number 26 is a resolution that the city council approves and adopts a recommendation of the personnel board for the reclassification of mechanic from grade 7 to grade 8. And Hannah discussed this with us, gives a little more leeway in negotiating salary.
Right, they're not able to hire anybody right now because of the salary.
Make a motion. We have one.
All right, we've got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item number 27 is a reappointment from the Personnel Board to reappoint Jake O'Neill. He's served one 5-year term to the Personnel Board and willing to serve another, and the Personnel Board does a lot of good work. That's a good group, so everyone, they're in support of him, so.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second?
No other applicants, right?
All right.
Or, because it was renomination? Oh, you did have some with this one. Okay.
When they've only served one term, and Jake also serves as the secretary, Personnel Board's also one of those ones that you have to make sure you have somebody who has some either business owner, HR experience to serve one. So we allow them to go at least another term. And the board did recommend that we extend his
Okay.
appointment.
All right.
I don't think any of the applications we had, I think when Lisa checked them, they were from 2024 too. Yeah,
Oh, they were?
they were
Okay.
not current.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the reappointment, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, Jake is reappointed. Thank you for your service. Item number 28 is an appointment for the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board. This is to appoint Sarah Bogdanovich to basically fill the term, or to fill the seat that had previously been Gary Gover, and this is for a 4-year term for the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board.
She was a active participant, right?
Been actively
Prior to.
engaged, even as a non-member. She's
Yes.
been attending, so. Would anyone like to?
I'll make the motion to approve the appointment.
All right, we've got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Item number 29 is public participation. Please feel free to step forward and address the council on anything on your heart and mind, and you've got 3 minutes. Just give the clerk your name and address, please. Good evening.
Oh, it's him again.
That's right.
Lou Seymour, 116 Easton Circle. So just to comment on the CBD, hemp, and THC, I can speak from a little bit of experience. I'm not 420, in favor of 420. All you have to do is look what happened to one state where the people that were lucky enough to exit refer to the capital as dumpster Denver. And they cracked the door open, they began to allow this a number of years ago. By the second year, they were raising $250 million in tax revenue. But none of the education, the crime, and all those issues began to pick up. My recommendation would be you can't stop it. It's everywhere. It's spreading. Colorado has a small portion of that $250 million anymore, even though they've raised it from 25% to 30%, and it may be even more, because it's everywhere now. Everybody's growing it. and don't become dependent on the revenue. I would suggest that you limit it as much as you can. Don't put it in every retail outlet that you can or every liquor store that resells full alcohol. Keep it to a limited value of specialty shops. If you outright ban it, they're going to buy it in the surrounding communities anyway.
It's true.
But don't become dependent on the revenue. You'll find that to be a mistake. Thank you.
Thank you for your words.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I knew a high school teacher whose name was Mary Jane Doobie.
Our parents must have really enjoyed Mary Jane.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else want to address council?
Come on, that can't be the last comment.
All right. Is that it? All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Run a little late tonight.